So this session is really an experimental format, so we will see how it goes. Those of you who know me know that I talk about science, art, music, design, being imprints of one another. I do not believe that there is a separation between them. They're imprints and shadows of one another. And it is very difficult to bring them together. And to do that, we've been thinking so hard with Eduard. I mean, a year and a half ago, we're sitting there saying, how do we bring something like this together? How do we combine really cutting-edge science with music, with art, something new, completely out of the box? And I couldn't be more proud to say that we met at Sonar by some introductions, and then we said, shall we do something together? And it just came about, and that's the magic. That's the magic of Puzzle X, which is we find the right pieces and we bring them together. So I couldn't be more proud to say that tonight we're going to do something that I hope it will not be it will be the first, but it will not be the last. We'll continue to do this, and it is called Matter Expressionism. I'm going to just take 1 minute to tell you why it's called Matter Expressionism. I'm a physicist and a material scientist. I believe that everything that you touch and you feel is made of matter. That's not what I believe. It is a reality. And art, music, and architecture are all different expressions of matter. Think about this. Without matter, there is no sound. In space, there is no sound. Without matter, there is no music. Music is a gift of matter. So is art. Without matter, there is no paint, there is no canvas. Without matter, there is no space, there is no architecture. All of these things are different expressions of matter. And today we wanted to bring that concept to life. So I would love to welcome to the stage my co-conspirators and collaborators, Antonia and Eduard. Please, a round of applause. Antonia from Sonar and Eduard from UPC. Thank you so much, guys. I'm gonna leave you with this, right? You guys got it? Yes. Yes?
Hello there. Thanks ever so much, Zena, for this introduction. That's what you call an experimental thing.
I wanted a picture with you guys.
Of course.
All right, let's get a picture.
Some of us will have image rights, do we?
Thank you, UPC and Sonar.
I think, Antonia, what a privilege to be.
I forgot to do one more thing. This is experimental, so this would not have been possible without companies who dare. Quantinuum, and you're going to see the CEO of Quantinuum on the stage, Ilyas Khan. They came in last minute and say, we're going to support this thing. We're going to bring the sound of quantum. And you have to wait for that one. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, does the body rule the mind or does the mind rule the body? We don't know. Does art rule science or does science rule art? We don't know. Antonia, what do you think?
We have no idea.
Have no idea.
And that's the magic of it, I think, that we have no idea. And so what is science?
That's the experiment we're trying to do today. Antonia, she's representing Sonar, a very large event experimenting with science in music and art. I'm representing a large public university devoted to engineering. Wise people say that science is a subject trying to describe through the scientific method an object. Wise people say that art is, what is art? A subject trying to impress another subject through artistic impressions or the like.
Could be. I don't dare to describe art, but I'm going to take a quote from a curator called Hans Ulrich Obrist, who says that both science and art are ways to make sense of the world, and that science and art are secretly part of each other. So I think that it's a good description.
It is definitely a beautiful one. Then on the one extreme, we have the science of science, that's epistemology. On the other hand, we have the art of art, that's meta-art. What happens at the halfway, in the middle? Is there the art of science? Where we have a scientific expert?
The science of art.
Or the science of art? This has to be super neutral and balanced, else we're going to be kicked off the stage. So the art of science, what's the outcome of a scientific experiment? A micro-nano photograph, data from the galaxies, billions of information coming from all the brains of the world. Do we have an artistic expression in that piece of science? Or in the very intellectual and cognitive process of developing science, that could be an aid of fertility. What about science and technology for art? What do you think?
Science and technology for art. Sometimes they're inspiration, sometimes they're tools, techniques that make art possible. Most of the time, I think that they are like, yes, I would say that they are what sparks artists' imagination more often than not. And that's already good enough, I think.
It is our speculation that the type of insight is very similar in scientific discovery and artistic discovery, and that's why we're here. And the theme of the session is exactly that, try to provide a virtuous collision between art and science, but with a unique flavor, the flavor of Puzzle X. This is the Matterverse. We're talking about science and technology that has to be with material things, with tangible things, with machines, let them be quantum computers or semiconductors. So how that science could affect art and vice versa, this is the theme. And to do so, we're privileged to have today here with us.
Yeah.
First, we'll have Professor
Two scientists.
Two scientists.
Or three scientists, let's say.
To begin.
And two artists, creative studios.
We have first Professor Ishii from Media Lab, you just heard him. Then we have Professor Sergi Jorda from UPF. Then we have
Elias Khan from Quantinum. And then we have Santi Villanova from Play Modes. And finally, we have Ana Diaz from Hamill Industries Studio.
And once we have gone through all of this, we'll be glad to catalyzing the event with musical chords. We'll be glad to culminate the session with not even a debate panel, with an open, spontaneous discussion. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. And now let's say hello to Mr. Hiroshi and to Sergi Jorda. The stage is all for you.
Thank you very much. We love music. We love art. But also we love beer. After a long talk, thank you for the volunteer who brought me the beer. That will bring back a refill energy. So let's go through. You already here in my talk. So can we switch the image? Okay, great. So I lost my mom, 1998. I was so far away because I was Boston. I couldn't really fly back to the home before she died. I was so sad. So huge black hole in my heart. So I have to do something, creating. That's the reason I made a music bottles. So just tribute. So there's no reason, not a patent, not a business, not a scientific paper, but as being a human being, then feeling those stuff is something so important. That's what I really believe. And also, my mom really liked many poets, like Hermann Hesse. So I put poems read by some actor or actress into the bottles. So those are a whole idea. Also, one day I made a bottle. I made a Marvin Minsky's bottles. If you open it, Marvin says, something about society mind. But if you open next bottle, Seymour Papert, then there's a dialogue. Oh, Seymour, you're there. All the philosophical stuff. So simple bottles, but really evoke, because it's something representing the people, also message. So also we talk about piano, and of course piano is nice, and but living in piano forever really struck me, because I miss so many people who are gone. I wish my mom or dad can living in the piano. Then I can still remember and play together. You never expect they respond because they're dead. But still have recorded the piano play. Then I can put my hands onto my mother's hands. Then we can do duet. So that really makes me so happy. That's not a scientific, logical thinking. But I'm so happy that her project really brought me to that levels. Then when I play young Xiao Xiao and grown-up Xiao Xiao, I never thought about. But this can be cross-generation. Also, Ryuichi Sakamoto, very famous pianist, came to my lab and he played. So still we can play together with Ryuichi Sakamoto. That's a really different way to publishing CD-ROM or LP, because it's not a sound recorded by sensors. Even breathing, motion, movement of the shoulder, everything really conveys the important emotion of the music. So, but the most important things, my encounter with Sergi Jorda, because we did a lot of the interactive piece, like using a tangible interface. I do believe kinesthetics, body, embodied interaction important. Computer music from distance, you have no idea, just laptop, for example. But if you jazz concert, you see all the jazz player using their body, skill, acoustic instrument. This make very causality chain. Why I hear this sound? Clear causality chain is important. But once you look at black box of CPU, quantum or Intel, whatever, you can decode what's happening. You can't really connect cause and the result. So clear, transparent causality chain is so important for art, music. That's something I thought it. But the most important thing, the Sergi's team brought this idea to the next level of the Reactable. So now let me introduce my best colleague in Sergi Jorda. Yeah. Great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Hiroshi. It's a big pleasure and an honor to be sharing this stage with Hiroshi, because when we started working on the Reactable in 2003 at Pompeu Fabra, Hiroshi's work and the audio pad, but especially his notion about manipulating information was totally essential for us. Okay. So, well, there was supposed to be a video, but I...
Okay, can I get the video back?
No. Okay, this is a video performance by Matt Robertson, who was the reactablist for Bjork in around 2010, 2012. And I want to say that the Reactable probably became popular because of its prettiness and its magic. But I want to say something about this prettiness. And in the interaction design, one very important thing related to Hiroshi's concepts was that all that you see in this interface is relevant information. There's no gimmick, there's no decoration, there's no any eye candy thing. And all the information needed to manipulate this interface is shown here and directly accessible. So that was very important, and I learned it from Hiroshi. This is a talk about, a session, a conference on matter, and music is probably the most anti-matteristic art, but it's also about science and art, and definitely music. I think it's the art that has pushed the boundaries of technology always the first. From the bone, flutes, the piano, electric sound. I mostly work in music interaction, in computer music interaction, and I believe that music interaction is always at the pushing human-computer interaction, just because there's no skill, there's no human activity more skilled and with a higher bandwidth than performing music live, and there's no bigger contact with the tool than that of a music instrument. So if we stick to this idea of music interaction, I think that in the next years, we will see with music interaction with intelligent instruments will bring interaction to a next level. We are listening to symphonies with a push button, fully composed with a key press. I really don't care about that, and I'm not too, we will be consuming tones of songs and symphonies made with a machine. As I say, I don't really mind, but I think that interacting with intelligent instruments can bring interaction to a next level in the sense that the bandwidth that we will have to deal. Imagine controlling, creating a symphony in real time while conducting it. So, and I believe that can even have an impact on human freedom. And you would say, what has music interaction to do with human freedom? Facing a world in which we will need to interact with algorithms, think that the less interaction we have, and the more interaction, the less communication, and the less interaction, the more we miss, that's control that we are delegating, and that's control that's going out of our hands. So I really think that music interaction as a higher bandwidth interaction, as the highest bandwidth interaction that humans do with machines, can probably have something to say on that. Okay, thank you.
Oh,
You want to add
oh yeah,
something?
one comment. I'm so honored
Yes.
to get to know the Sonar community.
Yeah.
We heard the name a lot, but also there are a lot of interesting community name, new instrument of the musical expression, bit more academic ACM conference, also TI, tangible embodied interaction. That's something started from tangible, but Sergi chaired 2013 in Barcelona. And
Yeah.
so I think academic conference like a TI, NIME, really cross-fertilize also Sonar, for example. So I really like more academic scientific community and art community cross-fertilization, then idea evolve into the reactable is something beautiful example of the cross-fertilization or transdisciplinary. So I want to see more academic and the art community can work together.
That's our goal, to
I
bring
know.
the art community,
I
the
know.
scientific community, the
I
tech
know.
community together.
Okay,
And Sergi was so right.
Yeah.
Like music always pushes technology to innovation and in different ways. I like this experimental session, taking pictures all the time.
Thank you. I'm Japanese. Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much.